Mister? How do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
The second hour of Snowman in the Morning is powered by BetUS.com. BetUS.com, where the game begins. Let's go to Seattle. Sam Darnold.
That makes about as much sense as Cleveland trading to get Kenny Pickett.
What?
Cleveland traded to get Kenny Pickett. You want to know what's worse?
What's that?
Obviously, that means Jameis Winston is out.
Yep, Jameis Winston's a goner.
You're not going to like one of the ideas for the landing spots.
Frisco?
How you guys set for crab legs out there?
Well, we got our guy behind center to start. Some of the cuts I know that we made are necessary because we have to pay Brock Purdy. Period, point blank, end of story. We got to clear some room. But don't fall for the crab legs, John Lynch. If nothing else, crab legs is a backup. Period, point blank, end of story. We got our guy.
Yeah, unfortunately, word around a lot of places, it's San Francisco and San Diego that are looking at him.
Dear Chargers, take him away from us, please. Just take him away from us, please.
But yeah, I'm not kidding. Cleveland traded to get Kenny Pickett.
Now, does that jettison Jameis Winston?
It does, because obviously Deshaun Watson's not going to do crap.
Why did I just say James? You just said crab.
Yeah.
Legs.
Crab legs is headed out.
The question should have been, are they going to jettison Deshaun Watson? That's what the question should have been.
Unfortunately, I don't think so, because they're buried in his contract deeper than when The Undertaker buried Austin.
Hey, you leave my Austin alone, even though it was fun watching those two work with each other.
What?
Yeah, huh? All right. What is the Sam Darnold? This is how we started this segment. Sam Darnold to Seattle. And now they're minus DK Metcalf. And I believe they're minus Tyler Lockett.
I believe so as well. I'm looking here. The only people they've retained is Ernest Jones and Jaron Reed.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Darnold, Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
So Boyle joins us. Says good morning from Reno. Good morning to T.O. Replay of this will be on Zebo TV little after the top of the next hour.
Vic, here's a scenario that'll make Snowman say I quit. They send Brock to Dallas.
I quit. I'd throw this headset down, turn everything off in the studio, and walk away.
But why would
by the way, Victor, for that joke, a whole lot of you.
That joke. You know what? That joke deserves a little bit of this.
Ain't nobody calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, are you still involved?
That's because you're not involved, Tam. Shut up.
Hmm.
Now,
Damn.
the interesting thing is Minnesota could have retained him, could have retained Darnold, but let him walk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they re-signed Byron Murphy for a 3-year deal for 66. They re-signed Aaron Jones 2 years for 20.
Yeah.
Ryan Kelly, their center, 2 years 18. Their corner Isaiah Rogers, 2 years 15. Safety Theo Jackson, 2 years just over 12 and a half. And they even re-signed their punter for just under $2 million for a year.
Right.
But why are you letting go a quarterback of Darnold's capability?
Victor says, my face hurts, and dog, you're under arrest.
The hell I do?
Don't give me that what the hell I do business.
I mean, it's not like I'm any of these clowns.
This has been yet another Beating a Dead Horse presentation.
I'm just saying.
Or any of these clowns.
This has been yet another Beating a Dead Horse presentation.
You know, since we're talking free agency, what is a good landing spot do you think for Cooper Kupp? I got my greedy spot, but I'll say something logical for once. Terrorist auditory mutilation, aka TAM. Where does Cooper Kupp land?
I see him getting re-signed.
You see Cooper going back to the Rams?
I can see him getting re-signed, yeah.
I could see him going to Northern California.
Well, that's because you're damn greedy.
No, it's because we need a slot. Bad. I mean, yeah, that's greedy. And yeah, Cooper Kupp has always destroyed us statistically.
Well, now that I'm looking at
Victor agrees with you. Cooper stays put. You know, I'm inclined to believe that as well, that Cooper will stay with the Rams. They'll just bring him back at a cheaper rate.
Yeah, because they signed Devontae for 2 year 46, and they ended up restructuring Stafford's contract and signed Jimmy G for 1 year and 11.
You know, if they can do that with Cooper Kupp, then I think Frisco will do that with Juszczyk.
Yeah. What if Cooper goes to Green Bay? Oh.
Then I won't hear Trey Larkins' end of it.
Cooper Kupp going to Green Bay.
You're fired. Exactly. Exactly. I don't know. If the Niners don't target Cooper Kupp, they could target Tyler Lockett.
They could, yeah.
Or they find a receiver
in the draft,
and it would be late.
Yeah, and usually there are some semi-decent wides late in the first round.
Right. But they're
it's not unheard of.
They're picking 11th.
Okay, so they're just outside the top 10. That means there's going to be somebody solid at the top of the chart.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not often wides go inside the top 10 unless it's a huge name.
Right.
Like that one out in Colorado that everyone wants.
Oh yeah, that kid.
That kid. I don't know what's worse. I don't know what's worse, the fan base around that kid or dealing with conversations with these idiots.
Oh God. None of that, please. I'm looking at the top 7 receivers that are available. 4 of these 6 I'm very familiar with. Of course, we all know Travis Hunter.
Yep.
Tatara McMillan from Arizona, 6'4", 219. Here's a game breaker. Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State, 6'1", 202.
Booker had a decent season.
Buka is a game breaker. If you get him in the right situation, he's going to be a showstopper.
Yeah, he's more of a WR2 than he is a WR3. But even then, that's more of a WR 1.5 when it comes to him.
Imagine a Buka, 6'1", 202 in red and gold.
Greedy.
You got Luther Burden out of Missouri, and Droids talked about him, 6', 206.
Yeah, dude's got some speed to him.
And here is my most likely target for San Francisco. Jaden Higgins, 6'4", 214 out of Iowa State. Solid.
He was very. I remember watching him in their bowl game with Texas. He was good that game.
Yep. Then you got Trey Harris, 6'2.5", 205 out of Ole Miss. And here's another under the radar pick for my 49ers. You go 20 minutes to Palo Alto and you'll find Alec Iomanner out of Stanford.
I could see them going after him just because he's homegrown.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd probably be the bigger pick than any of the rest of them. I think he'll be the one that'll end up going.
Yeah. It'll be either him or Jaden Higgins.
Yes.
Out of Iowa State. Those between, and I'll put Trey Harris in the bunch also out of Mississippi.
Yeah.
Because they're familiar ties with the SEC. Ricky Pearsall, out of Florida. Alec Iomanner, who's up the road at Stanford, so he can stay home. And the big boy, Jaden Higgins, out of Iowa State.
Yeah.
But it'll be a toss-up between those three. And also, just as a tryout, Tez Johnson out of Oregon.
That would be very intriguing if they go after him.
It would be intriguing. It would be intriguing. Let's look at some edge rushers and I'm thinking in terms of not just my team, but what other teams need. Think in terms of your team, folks. Who do you think, what do you think is the biggest need for your team? Hell, that's our question of the day. Throw the question of the day up there. That's our question. That's our question of the day. The question of the day is, what is the biggest pressing need for your team?
Of course, question of the day brought to you by SeatGeek. Use code Snowman for $20 off your first purchase. Only from the power of SeatGeek, where fans can fan. I don't have any of these reads. Just remember this crap.
You know what? With the departure of Dre Greenlaw,
you guys need somebody in the middle.
Yep, and I'm looking at Jalen Walker out of Georgia.
Ooh, that big boy.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at Jalen Walker out of Georgia. Shamar Stewart, Texas A&M, an edge rusher. J.J. Pierce, James Pierce Jr., 6'5", 245, an edge rusher out of Tennessee. Little undersized, but
he gets away with a lot of speed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the big thing is he might be a little on the smaller side for a line, but the boy is quick. If he can get two steps on you, you're fried.
Speaking of speed, you know who the 49ers are targeting?
Try me.
My wife's not going to be happy with this, but think about how this will fit in the Niners scheme, especially with Robert Saleh back as defensive coordinator. EJ Speed, released from Indianapolis.
Ooh. That could get dirty. That could get very dirty.
EJ Speed. Released by the Colts.
I mean, it would make sense.
Mm-hmm. It would make sense. It would make sense. And the other thing for Greenlaw, the Niners just couldn't pay him. They're in cap hell right now. But that doesn't mean they can't go out and look for great free agents. EJ Speed, I'm listening to David Lombardi's podcast last night. Shout to David Lombardi. EJ Speed is a target for the 49ers.
Thomas in the chat saying the Eagles need a middle linebacker and youth on defense in general.
I think that's what Philadelphia needs, even coming off of the Super Bowl. That's what the 49ers need. They got to get younger and they got to get quicker.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be real. The only reason Philadelphia flat out won the Super Bowl was the fact they just stomped on Kansas City to open it up.
Yep.
Once Kansas City got rolling, Patrick was able to carve up 2.5 quarters for Mahomes to get going.
Mm-hmm.
So Philly does need somebody up the gut to kind of help out.
Yeah, so do the 49ers because we got gashed in the middle.
Yeah.
And that began in last year's NFC Championship game. And 2 years ago, I beg your pardon. That began in our championship game against the Lions when the Lions were gashing us up the middle. And then last year, you saw the end result of us not having our together.
Yeah.
Defensively. But this is March, folks. This is March. The moves are just getting started with the new league season beginning tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 4:00.
Tomorrow, I will dive deep during the show about all the moves that the 49ers are making. That's all